So today I'll be talking about something that we might not talk a lot when it comes to cybersecurity, especially when we are more focused on technologies, more focused on processes, and the things that we do day in and day out. But today I really love how ISOG has given an attention to the human part of cybersecurity. And we love to speak about, you know, how are we? How are we doing? Are we still good? Are we okay? So I'll be sharing with you a study that we've conducted with Tech Research Asia. This is a consulting firm that specializes on studying trends in technologies and how does that impact the business values of organizations across Asia Pacific. So this burnout in cybersecurity, I'd say that it is becoming prevalent nowadays. Let me start off with the demographics so that we have a good idea of who were the respondents, where did they came from, and what background do they have. So we have our respondents representing different levels or positions in the cybersecurity field. We have the majority of the respondents coming from those non-exec IT leaders, those that are holding positions like IT managers, cybersecurity specialists, security analysts. But we also have representations from CIOs, CISOs, and those that are handling or are line managers in cybersecurity, as well as non-tech roles in the company. Next is where do they work? The industry sector they represented has a majority in information, media, and telecommunications. These respondents have the highest number, as you can see on the board, but we have a good amount of representation from all across the industries that you can see here. Okay, 3 findings of this tech research. First is the prevalence of cybersecurity burnout and fatigue. I don't want to start this session actually to sound negatively, but I want us to hear about what these technology enthusiasts, cybersecurity professionals are saying when it comes to their roles and the tasks that they are, that they are given to do. There are 85% of companies that stated they have experienced cybersecurity burnout and fatigue among their cybersecurity professionals and IT people inside their companies. So that is comprised of 23% of those who experience it frequently and those that are occasionally experiencing it at 62%. Next is, from that experience, what is the impact on the business? We know that the human element in cybersecurity is directly responsible to some elements of the business itself. On the businesses, they have noted down 4.1 hours per week on average of productivity loss due to burnout and fatigue. So we're looking at that number per hour, on 4.1 hours per week, but we're going to see later in which countries has the highest or above average number of hours loss of productivity. Now, the third finding relates to cybersecurity strategies and how impactful or effective that actually is among these professionals or among our employees. On average, there is 38% of employees that are caught to be repeat offenders despite education, trainings, and programs. So this represents how human vulnerability should actually get enough attention nowadays when it comes to cybersecurity. So let's look into the details of that. The prevalence of burnout and fatigue. We have identified 5 top causes of this burnout and fatigue experienced by cybersecurity and IT professionals. The first one is the lack of resources that are available to support the cybersecurity activities. Lack of resources includes shortage of staff, lack of support from third-party vendors, and the lack of support from the management level. Second is the feeling of monotony, which is coming from, the tasks that they do every day, coming from the role that they have. But what I say is this: those processes or things that we do every day as cybersecurity professionals, when it is efficient and producing the outcomes that we want, we are not gonna feel burnout from it. What gives them that feeling of burnout are those mundane tasks that should have been done more efficiently or more streamlined to produce the outcomes that they want. What gives them the burnout is that they have worked a lot and produced a little. Third is the increased level of pressure from executive management. I want to apologize if this doesn't sit well with some of us here now, but this is their experience. That increased level of pressure from the management is noted when these groups or these teams undergo pressure of changing regulatory, legal compliances, and that translates to the pressure felt by those people working on the ground. And fourth is the alert overload. Obviously, cybersecurity professional, this is part of our role, this is part of our job to check on what the tools are telling us. However, there are tools that instead of helping our everyday tasks, it's making it more complicated. So this increased in alert overload was produced by those persistent alerts from tools that are oftentimes noise and false alarms or false positives. That is tiring, to be honest. Because as a cybersecurity professional, you have to understand what these tools are telling you, and you have to prioritize. It's as if you are looking for a needle in the haystack if there's a lot of alerts coming in, daily to your table. Now, the last one is the increase in threat activity. This is given, we have no control about it, because cybersecurity threat landscape is evolving fast. And the thing that gives the challenge to the people on the ground is that they are managing these threat activities, and at the same time, it's combined with the challenges given by adapting new technologies, onboarding the team, training the new hires, passing on some admin tasks to the junior level staff, etc. So those are the things that they are managing, and these are the top 5 causes of their burnout and fatigue. Now let's look into the impact of these burnout and fatigue to the employees themselves. 90% is a very, very alarming statistics. There are 90% of cybersecurity professionals that stated that they are negatively impacted by burnout and fatigue that translate to their work performance. Just imagine only 10% of professionals says that there is no negative impact to their work performance. And the reason behind, or this 90% is comprised of those who felt that they are not doing diligently enough with their cybersecurity roles. Second is there are 34% who felt heightened anxiety when they are subject to breaches and attacks. There are also those who experience or are feeling the cynicism, apathy, which is the last thing we want to happen, that these professionals do not care about the business itself and the security of the company. But it is happening. So from that impact on those employees, specifically, what is the impact on the business? 4.1 hours per week is the loss of productivity on average among the cybersecurity professionals. Just imagine they stay on the company for 1 year, how many or how much loss of productivity that is. In total, that is the average, but you can see here, Philippines has the top rate of loss per week, which is at 4.6%. Now that translates to the next one, which is a more serious one. How much of this burnout and fatigue are attributed to actual breaches? So we can see different bars here in different blue colors because we love blue. So this one is the total or the average of all this. We can see the first bar is actual breach that is attributed where it is, the company says it's the burnout and the overwhelmed IT security professionals that are responsible for that mishaps. So in total, that is about 27% on average. The second bar, which is the darkest blue one that you can see there, is the underperformance because of cybersecurity stress. So there is about, 17% of employees that experience underperformance because of stress. And then lastly, the brightest blue that you can see is that the slower than average response time to incidents. So see how it impacted not only the employees, the productivity as a whole in a business, but also the incident response plan, the SLAs, the service level targets that we have in the team. So they experience, on average, about 18% of companies experience lower response times because of overwhelmed IT security staff. So that leads me to probably what these companies are doing. So when we talk about the human vulnerability or the human element of cybersecurity, some would think that maybe we need more trainings, we need more programs, we need more, exposure of these people to something real or simulated kind of tests. But to tell you honestly, those are effective at some point. However, this is the data. Companies are still experiencing lapses with the cybersecurity mistakes from repeat offenders. So these repeat offenders are sadly from SLTs, senior level teams, senior leadership teams, which is at 41%. From overall employees, that's 38% of employees committing the same mistakes, even though they were given the programs, they were given the awareness, the trainings, the simulations, etc. So let's look into the root of the matter. Over the years, we've noted down the causes and as well as the concern or the area of frustration of these cybersecurity professionals. The question is, what frustrates you the most? You want to do your job, you want to be effective on your job, you want to produce the best cybersecurity outcome that you can think of, but what is hindering you to do that? The struggle to build a strong, effective company-wide cybersecurity culture is the top-ranked concern this year. Last year, it was outside of top 10, which is a good news, honestly, because nowadays we are becoming, evangelists to the rest of the people in the company, telling them that cybersecurity is not only our responsibility, it is a shared responsibility by everybody signed up in this company. So last year it was outside top 10. Good news, it's top 1 today. Last year, on the 10th spot is that the executives assume that cybersecurity is easy and concerns are over-exaggerated. While I believe that there are fear-based marketings, there are those that chase ambulances, there are those that would rather use fearsome statements to make people buy their solutions. But I do also believe that there is a certain level of, skepticism that that might be true. Because I heard it from one of our customers. He said that the best thing that you can do when you are in a cybersecurity space is that assume that you are always under breach. Because of that, you will do more, you will double your efforts. But the thing is, these executives assume that it is easy. That is not serious. Maybe because they are seeing large companies being breached and they assume sila nga eh, di ba? How much more tayo? We are only small. So things like that. This year, it's on the second spot. The third area of concern is that the executives also assume that they won't be attacked. Last year, it was on the first spot. It went down to the third spot this year, which tells us there may be a good chance or a good awareness that they are getting. That these companies, these financial institutions, even though how big they are getting attacked, they are getting breached. Cyber criminals are not going to select, or are not going to consider your industry, the number of people that you have. They are only after the money. So this year, that is on the third spot. On the fourth spot is there is not enough budget for cybersecurity. That was at the seventh spot last year. Now it ranked fourth, so it went higher than last year. And we do believe in Sophos that this is going to stay within top 5 even in the coming years, because we acknowledge there are, economy headwinds that are experienced by different organizations, not only in the Philippines, but worldwide. So that's going to be in the top 5 moving forward. Lastly, the executive team pay lip service to cybersecurity, but don't believe in it. I hope walang ganon dito. So last year it was at 8 and it went up to 5th. So I don't know about you, but today nobody asked me yet, kamusta ba ako? How are you? Are you okay? Are you still keeping up? I might sound churchy, but can you tell the person next to you, how are you? Kamusta ka naman? Are you still fine? Are you doing okay? Because at the end of the day, we are all just humans. We can commit mistakes, human error. We are not robots. We are not systems that are, designed or programmed to do certain things. We have emotions. We have families. We have personal problems. And these people are in the cybersecurity team. So when you sign up for cybersecurity, you're not going to turn into a robot. You're still human in there. So I think the message of this research is that when we think of cybersecurity, we factor in the human in it. We factor in that these people need support, they need to be heard, they need to be cared for. They need a space where they can just shout out and say, I need help. I need you. I need your support in this matter. So this is the Sophos perspective. And in closing, I'm going to share to you with 3 perspectives from Sophos. The first one is that the security skills gap. We have been talking a lot about it, but maybe we need to revisit that and check whether we are putting the right set of skills, the right people in these gaps that are present. Do we have the right people that has the right authority to make decisions? Second is that there is not a simple fix to everything that is, human. But an attitude adjustment would go a long way. We believe that accountability is part of all of our roles here. Somebody who would stand up and say, we need this. There is a voice telling to the upper management that security must be part of our priority. In that way, we would understand that, in creating a cybersecurity culture, part of it is also creating a safe space where these professionals could tell you and their voice will be heard that we are we are behind with a lot of stuff in cybersecurity, and we need help. Lastly, it takes a village is a motto that we need to live by. This is a safe space, and asking for help is autonomous these days. If you need help, you can shout out and tell, I need help. That would be all from Sophos. Thank you so much for listening.